G'day everyone, Master Rabbit here from capsulecomputers.com.au or .com. I'm going to be running you through today a build that I think, this is basically my opinion, for a monk. A monk build, monk class, as best as you can. Don't forget, you're going to have other characters in the game that are going to help you. Your companions will certainly help you in the game to do specific things. But what I'm doing is I'm just trying to make the best, in my opinion, build for a monk class that you can use while you're playing the game. So I'm just going to run through the basic build here. So going to go through this. I'm not changing anything here because this is not going to affect your build. Of course, you can play at whatever level of difficulty you want, I guess, I hope. So moving across. So as you can see, there are all these character classes that are already there, but I'm not going to any of these. Of course, all these are very handy, very helpful for people that just want to jump into the game. I'm going to go in and create a custom character. Okay. So with my custom character, let's start with next, I guess. Okay. So with my character class, I'm going to be choosing a monk. There aren't many. I think there's only two that I've noticed. It's this one here and this one here. I like this artwork for the monk. Of course, I'm not going to be using. I'm not going to be using this race. But I like the artwork for that. So you can, like I said, you can choose anything you want from here. This is basically just cosmetic. Alrighty. So yeah, but here it is. This is the one. Okay, so jumping back out of this, going down to, where is he? Monk. Okay. So for now, we're just going to be sitting with a monk of standard, nothing, not any of these. Okay, each one of these are pretty much another style of monk, which is the traditional monk, of course, the student of stone. I'm going to uncheck all this, okay, and I'm going to stick with, I'm going bare basic for now, and I'm going to build it from the ground up, okay? So that's him there. As you can see, monks start with all the basic prerequisites like unarmed strike, key power, wise warrior. You know your prerequisites need to be, always have to fall within this alignment. So be careful when you do play, of course, Pathfinder. You're gonna be giving a lot of quests and situations where you're gonna have to be good or bad. Try not to fall over the area of the alignment, because if you do, you're pretty much in trouble, because you won't be able to level him up in that class again. You're going to be then you might have to reload and do what you have to do. All right, so as you can see, you got unarmed strike, key power, chi power, sorry, and wise warrior. For a monk, it's very important, in my honest opinion, to work with wisdom. I played the original Pathfinder Kingmaker, of course, and I've used personally monk classes in many of the older classics, Neverwinter Nights games on PC, and been quite experienced, especially in that game as well. Played a lot of online games, especially in the Neverwinter Nights Persistent World over on it was an online game made by some really talented guys. I can give you information on that another day anyway. Anyway, let's not jump away from there. Alright, so I'm going to be going with human. I know, as I said, this is a build that I quite enjoy using. Okay, so everyone could probably, of course, everyone's got their own opinions. Mine could be completely wrong. Please understand that I'm not here to have an argument with anybody. I'm just basically just offering my suggestion on a good build for a monk that will come in, that I think will be quite enjoyable. So I'm going to go with human. Reason why is because you also get bonuses every level, and as you can see here, +2 to 1 ability score at the creation, and the character gets a +2 bonus on ability of their choice. Personally, I like that, and plus this one here is a good one too. Humans gain an additional skill rank at first level and 1 additional rank whenever they level up. So for this game, personally, I believe that is pretty fun, pretty good. A feat ability, pretty straightforward. As you can see, if you want to quickly read it, the feat is an ability a character has mastered. Feats often allow characters to circumvent rules or restrictions. So characters gain 1 feat at the first level and 2 every level after that. Humans receive a bonus feat at the first level. That's pretty much what we were talking about before. Alright, so I'm going to jump in with these two. I'm not going to give you the rundown. I think I've been on this screen long enough. If you want to read it yourself, you certainly can. So, human. Click next. Okay. So, next is background. So, personally, for the monk, I'll show you quickly. As you can see, you've got all these different types. They're all quite handy for different character builds, okay? So as you can see, monks don't really use weapons. They shouldn't. I never used a weapon in any of the games that I played in the past, especially with Pathfinder or in the other builds that I used to play with Neverwinter Nights online and the Persistent Worlds that I used to play in. So as you can see here, that's pointless. As you can see, the nobles also have different weapons here. Not good. None. You don't want to use none, because then you'll be at a disadvantage, of course. Now, this is a good one. You've got a healer, and you've got Acolyte. Now, this is the one I went with after doing after just doing some, like just playing around with the builds. As you can see, this one here does help you get improved strike. Now, of course, that is very, very good. But you got to remember, of course, your character is not going to be playing on his own. If you're playing on your own and you had options that weren't important, probably maybe you could stick with this one. This one here, I'm not really a big fan of, because I'm not going to be healing. You're going to have other people who are going to heal you. And of course it does come in handy, but I think the Acolyte, when I was playing around with it, is very good, because the Acolyte adds Persuasion and Religion. Okay, and Religion is, I think, something that's just an automatic one you really should be using when it comes to skill checks, because your character, I believe, if you're using a lot of wisdom, is going to come probably the first option when you're doing something like religion checks and skill checks like that. Now, the Persuasion, as I was mentioning before, they use their wisdom instead of charisma while attempting persuasion checks. Now, I'm going to be using this build, and then I'm going to show you what you think, what ability scores to add, because they will come in handy when you're selecting your abilities. You can get yourself a couple of extra points on the character when you're setting him up. Okay, so I'm going with Acolyte. Okay, all the other stuff I'm not going to go through, because you're going to see they're all more for different character builds. Of course, you can still make your character anything you want, but then after that, it basically goes away from what a monk should be doing. So all three of these ones are good, and of course, if you don't like my build, go in and change it, of course, and play with it however you feel is best. As I said, I'm always telling you, I'm going to say this once in a while, this is just my opinion. I could be completely wrong, and if I am, so be it. You can let me know in the comments section. Alright, so I'm moving across. So I've selected Acolyte here. Alrighty, so in this section where you're selecting, this is because of the human racial ability. At the moment, it's automatically set to dexterity. You can change it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it to wisdom. Okay, with wisdom, as you know, as I've already selected the Acolyte skill, my wisdom is going to be even stronger when I'm doing persuasion checks. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give myself 18 points here. Okay, and then one thing that's important is your charisma. No longer needed, as you see. If you go over charisma, you can. It's not showing it. Not showing you. All right, but you know the charisma. Oh, sorry, I'm already on it. My bad. The charisma does help for persuasion, but because I'm already on this one, I'm getting my persuasion already pretty high. So that's what I'm going to be doing. And as you can see here, because Pathfinder actually has a lot of role playing in the game, it's very, very good when it comes to these things here, like these checks and stuff that you see while you're at, law. Of course, you can see here quickly your religion checks, which I was mentioning before. This comes in handy quite a lot, especially in the last one, and your perception as well. Okay, so these are the ones. That's what I've got here. Now, one thing I'm also going to give it is I'm going to give myself one extra point here. For intelligence, which I know it's not required, but it's good to have, because then that will give me an extra skill point every time you level up. And as you said, as I was saying before, they do come in handy. And I know that it's pretty pointless when it comes to using these arcane things. You're not going to be using them at all. So I'm giving myself 1 point there. In the Constitution, I'm going with 12. Dexterity, I'm going to go to 16. Okay. And then in the Strength, because I want him to be somewhat strong, 14. Because the strength also is quite handy, especially when you want to use some of the other styles, like dragon style down the track. If you want to keep your character athletic, you might be even lucky to do a couple of athletics roll skills. Sometimes you might need your character to do them, and it's actually quite helpful. And his base abilities, of course, improve and his melee attacks also improve when you give yourself a bit of strength. Of course, I could be a little bit greedy and take away that and put 17 and so forth, but that's what I'm going to be doing. He's not as super strong, but he's not going to be a tank either. So, of course, if you've set him up good, my monk, especially in general, and other type of games as well, other past games that I used to play, quite hard to hit, especially when they've got dexterity and wisdom set up pretty high. Okay, so that's enough of me blabbering on in this section here. Alright, so take a note. 14 on strength. You can lower it down and give it to something else, like maybe Constitution if you feel like it. Dexterity, I'd stick on 16. Dexterity on 16, Constitution on 12, Intelligence on 2. Like I said, you could move this around. You could take it away and do that, but I'd still personally say it's best maybe stick it on that and then never change it again. Don't give it any more points, and it will come in handy for your skills. Alright, and Charisma, this is where this will be probably a topic of discussion if people complain, but I think because of my Acolyte skill, I haven't had any problems with it because of my Persuasion going over in this area here. Okay, anyway, let's just move on. Okay, so now I've got 5 skill points. I would have had 4, but now I've got 5. So as you can see here, these are all the ones that are beneficial to this build, and this is what I'll be doing. You can't put any more. You can't put any more per level until you level up. So basically, at the moment, you're not going to get. You can't put any more in. But as you know, if you're familiar with Pathfinder, the higher level you become, I think after it gets about to level 10, certain points increase from 2 to 4. You'll see that when we get to Feats and so forth. Okay, so I'm going to be putting 1 on Persuasion, as this was what I was discussing earlier. As you can see, my competence of +1 Acolyte. So that's increased from just 1 point. I've already got 9. Very, very handy, especially at the beginning of the game. But it's always going to be handy as you move further down the game as well. Okay, so I've got +4 Wisdom, +3 Class, plus 1 Acolyte, equaling 9. Okay? My perception, you know you're going to be getting other characters in the games, especially in the first one, Lizzie, our bard, used to spot everything even before I walked around, before I even got there. But with that, it's perfect. You could use that. If you don't want to use perception, you can always throw it on something else, which is, you know, which could be handy up there, like stealth. See, once again, stealth personally might be useful, but it might not, because it depends on what character you want to do the test, the skill check on. That's another option. Okay, so I'm going to be sticking with that. Of course, religion, as I was mentioning before. It seems like the monks are legendary when it comes to the religion skill check. So I'm sticking with that one. So that's 1, 2, 3. Law, I wouldn't do it. You'll be able to get other characters that are going to help you in law. Knowledge, not really that important either. As I said, then it comes back down to stealth. Would you rather give it to stealth? Maybe. Of course, you got mobility, very important. And then you've got athletics. So it really does come down to if your character needs to do any athletic checks while you're playing, and if it's individual, I'd probably stick with that one. I'm going with mobility as well. Mobility checks are always very important, and that's one good thing. So that's why you've got that. That's why I've got these two, mobility and athletic checks. Stealth, unfortunately, I'm going to miss out on this one. And then I'm going to go religion, perception, and persuasion. If at any point you guys think that maybe this is not the best build, maybe you can always drop that off and give it like to stealth. But I'm going to stick with doing that, because with that I'm getting a 4 plus 3. I'm getting a 4 plus 3 plus 1 because it's Acolyte. That's very important. These two are the most important ones. Then, as I said, 4 plus 3, that's 7 automatically. This one's only got a plus 1 because it's only, I gave it a plus 1 to intelligence. And then these ones here, plus 3. This is the best. This I probably, once again, 100% better. And strength as a plus 2. So that's what I'm going to be sticking with. And as I said, it's only level 1. At every level you'll get points to put them on. And what I'd recommend you always do, keep on putting them on, always on the same ones. Don't change them, because then it pretty much, it wrecks your power, what do you call it? It wrecks your advancement, especially when it gets to higher levels, like when it gets to level 10, you get an extra bonus 2, for example, on specific feats. Alright, let's move on. Okay, so in our feats, lots of things that you can do. One thing I like to do instantly, I think it's this one. Now I know it's a bit of a waste instantly, but this is what I recommend what I would recommend you guys do, especially with a monk club, with any kind of class that you might like with spending extra skill points. So as I was going back from before, this is what I would recommend you do. So you gain 1 additional skill point per level. Now that's excellent, because if you started at the beginning, you're gonna get them at the beginning. If you do it later on, I could be wrong, but I don't think it gives you a backlog of points to spend them on. So I don't think that's the wisest decision. So what I like doing is giving myself fast learner, and by doing that, I think we might have to go back to skill once I've done that. So let me just select that, okay? So select that. I'm not going to be going through anything else. I'm not going to explain anything else, because that's what I'm going to choose. Now I know there's recommendations, of course, like skill focus and increasing your unarmed strike and stuff like that. But no, I'm not going to stick. I'm going to stick with fast learner. Best to start off first level 1, get it out of the way. So by doing that, let's just quickly go back to skills. Yeah, no, you don't get it this time. You're going to get it next level. So next level, if you think you want to throw an extra point on stealth, then you can. It's always going to be 1 point behind, but hey, you could always switch them between strength and maybe, with athletics and stealth, and then always keep putting them on the ones you need. Okay, so that's why I've got fast learner set up there. Alright, so I'm going to select it and we'll go forward from there. So that was my bad. I thought that was we would have got an extra one straight away. But we don't. We get one per level. Okay, so next level, you'll get an extra point. Alright? So, moving on to... from Fast Learner over to the next feat. Now, the next feat... it's a bit complicated to say what is the best option, especially with a monk at its early stages. But I say, let's not go any further than the bottom ones here, because there's just these ones here are completely pointless, and some of them you can't even choose. So let me just show you quickly. There are some that do come in handy at the beginning. Let's scroll up slowly. Don't want to miss any. Alrighty, up. Okay. Now these ones here you can't get yet because you need to be a specific level of prerequisites. As you can see, some of them can be chosen. Just moving up. These will come in handy, like for example, Dragon Ferocity. For these critical masters, they will. No, it's not those ones. Like especially the dragon ones are good. All right. So anyway, let's move up. Get this out of the way. Okay. Now, no. Toughness is always quite good, but it really depends on if you want to make him a tank. Skill focus, as I was mentioning before, you can get him out of the way right now if you want to work on focusing on getting your skill focus out. So for example, skill focus on... Now this is only a suggestion, okay? I'm not going to be selecting it here, but like for example, if you want to go on skill selection of religion, get it out of the way, done. Because down the track of the game, sooner or later you're going to be... I did, and a lot of people did as well. I chose this. I chose, I believe, Perception, Persuasion. These are the two ones you're going to certainly want to pick up on. So as I was mentioning before, I wasn't 2, wasn't 4, it was 3 to 6. So once you get to level 10, you start with an extra 3 bonus if you select it right now, and then you go to +6 once you get to level 10. So that's an option. Okay, so I'll just unselect that. Weapon proficiency, not really. Shield proficiency, shake it off, no, not really. Scribe, you don't need. Now this is not bad. Your unarmed strikes can come in handy with this. This is a good one. You could potentially choose this if you want your character to start causing a bit of damage early on in the game. Pummeling strike is, at least it gives him something to do, because if you give him the skill focus, he's not going to do a lot of damage at the start. Precise strike is okay. Power attack, no. Persuasive, as I said, going back to the one I said before, this is what I was saying, 2 to 4. So this one here, this will and should be at any point in time, at some point in time, selected, because this is where you get an extra +2 on your perception, persuasion and perception checks. And as you know, these ones are good because they're actually 2 of the things that you're quite focused on increasing. So this one is another good one. So if you want to be if you want to get stuck into doing some, attacks, getting into the flurry of damage, causing damage, this is a recommendation. Persuasion, get it out of the way, I guess. Okay, moving on. So I'll select this one for now. Okay, so therefore I'm already ahead of time when it comes to having discussions with people. Alright, so moving up. These are the other ones I just want to suggest. You've got these ones that might come in handy down the track. Improved initiative is good. Great fortitude. Some of these ones are going to be very important if it depends on what build you're going to be doing. You got dodge at one point, you might come in handy. And deflect arrows will always be helpful down the track. Crushing blow is another good one. Okay, so when you make a stunning fist, as a full round, you succeed. You reduce your target's armor class by the amount equal to your wisdom modifier, which is quite good. Okay, so crushing blow is another suggested one that I would say choose from. So like I said, choose the ones you think that might come in handy. But remember, you'll be leveling up quite quickly and early on. So these are the ones that you want to be choosing. Crushing blows also, as I said, crushing blows also good. Combat reflexes will come in handy as well. Blind fight, I'm going to be choosing this one as well, but I'll be choosing it in my monk bonus feat. Alertness is also quite good. So you got +2 to your perceptions checks down the track. I guarantee choosing that one. And of course your weapon focus, if you really are going to choose a weapon focus, yeah, of course, unarmed strike at down at one point down the track. Okay, so just remember all them. So what I'll do, I'm going to go in and start with the, where did I put it? I'm going to go with this one. Just because I like, when it comes to role-playing my monk character, and if he's the only person who's going to be doing stuff, I want him to have a lot of perception, and I've put a lot of perception already on. I'm taking advantage of the Acolyte skill, so I'm going with perception. Okay, so moving on to the next one. Here we're going to get a bonus feat, and this is all pretty much what everyone, as I said, it's all personal choice when it comes to different feats and different abilities. I like the blind fight because at least if you do have a problem, you know, if you're fighting someone who's invisible, pretty much you've got another chance to re-roll. So I like choosing that one. Combat reflexes are crane style. I don't like fighting defensively because then after that you get a -2 penalty on your attacks. Deflecting arrows, yes, I probably suggest using that at one point. Dodge, of course, that's going to come in handy down the track. Prove initiative, yes, but not straight away. You know, you're going to get a +2. Normally, you might not start straight away anyway, depending on your other characters and your other companions might start. I'm going to stick with blind fight. Okay, we're nearly getting to the end. And the next step is choosing a deity. Now, I believe the deity that is best worked for a monk is Irori, if I said that right. By choosing Irori, you get a favored weapon of unarmed strike, and that's the best one because pretty much everything else works with a weapon, favored weapon too. Okay, so if I'm browsing over, you can see longbow, you can see flail. Now, but you can see some of these actually have other ones as well. Okay, this ability, you know, in the end, you can select these ones here, but they're basically tailored for different character class builds. And there's a quarterstaff, dagger. Okay, so I'm sticking with this one. Feel free to change it to whatever you like, or don't choose one at all. But it all depends on what you feel is your best build for yourself. But this is what I'm going to be going with this here. Irori. And next. My alignment, I like to stick them to lawful good. But you can also go lawful evil. Okay, so depends on your playstyle, depending on how much you want to be a good guy or a bad guy. So I'm sticking with lawful good. And I guess that's it. So the rest of the stuff is how you want him to look. I make him look, where is he? Yeah, this is a bit bigger, a bit skinnier. I'm sticking with this one. Now, let's see if I remember what I selected last time. I think it was, I think I made him this one. No scars. Sticking with a bit of a tan. Not too much of a tan. Yeah, that's good enough. Now, hairstyle, because he's a monk, I like to give him nothing. There he is. Good. Go back to 10. Beard, I like to make him a kick-ass beard. I think it's this one. Yeah, you can see now he looks pretty hardcore, doesn't he? Again, there's another couple of good ones. This one's a bit too long. Might get in the way of his battle system, battle fighting, if you think about it. Alright, so that looks good. Color of the beard. Stick him. I like to stick him with black. He looks pretty hardcore with black. Hard ass with black. Or you can make it a bit grey. Looks okay. Nah, let's stick him with black. The color definition looks pretty good. Then the rest of the stuff. wall paint. I don't think the wall paint looks good on him, so I'm going to stick with nothing. I just leave it normal. Primary colors. I like to choose what did I have last time? Like Shaolin monk style. So you got color of orange with a bit of, maybe do it the other way around. Nah, let's do it this way. Hey, looks good. All right. So yeah, he looks like a monk to me, doesn't he? All right. And then
we do it my way.
Voice is totally up to you guys. I don't care.
I'll carve my name onto your flesh.
Let us press on. Let us be off.
The path is clear.
Let's hear you cry.
Okay, you can be crazy if you want, but I go with this one.
No need for this. Our time has come. Defeat is not an option.
That's right. Okay, so that's it. And I'm going to call him what I normally call myself. And that is Master Abbott. Okay? Birth date. Who cares? That one there, we'll just leave it at that. 1st of the 1st. And we are done. Alright.
As one.
So, in closing, as you can see, this is the character build. I hope this has been helpful to everyone who's probably wanted to build a monk. And I apologize if my build is not to anyone's standard. As I said, this is a total recommendation on my opinion on what I believe is a great, a fun build for a monk in Pathfinder. So, yep, just running through it again. 14 strength, 16 dexterity, 12 constitution, 12 intelligence, 18 wisdom, and 7 charisma. Now, that could be the point where people could be going, no, you did the wrong thing. But with the Acolyte skill, I believe it's quite handy. So that's what I'm sticking with. As you can see on this side, you've got athletics with 6. Persuasion has jumped up to 11, quite handy, along with perception. And down, and as you can, as I was mentioning before, when you select your other skills down the track, you can maybe add an extra 1 to that, and then put 1 to skill, and that'll jump up to 7. And 6 and 7, 6 and 7, 6 and 7 will move up by 10. Move up every level, because you're going to get an extra bonus skill point every level because from what we selected, fast learner. And what was the other one we chose? I believe it was fast learner. My bad. Yeah, so that one there. Okay, so jumping all over the place. So that's the skills. That's our stats. Our base attack at the start is pretty low. You know that's not going to be any different. Our armor class is already 13, which is great. 10 at flat foot, touch 13, quite well. Fortitude, those are not going to be the best until you start putting stuff on, but reflexes and will are quite good. And you can always give yourself those extra skill points if you wanted to throw someone by using those. These are the basic ones we get at the start. Human, of course, armor class, yes. Unarmed strike, we got that. We're using that Deity for the unarmed strike. Acolyte, as I was mentioned before. Monk proficiencies come because they already come, and monk armor class because you're a monk, you get them already. So we got the improved unarmed strike, stunning fist or automatic, persuasion, which I already chose, fast learner, blind, fight, skilled, and because he's a human. All right, and there's all our skill points, and we are done. So once again, thank you once again for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. Always open for a discussion. I don't mind learning as well. If I've made massive mistakes in this build, please feel free to let me know anything that you might do. We can always work together and make ourselves a super monk. And hopefully it'll come in handy for myself to also learn too if I've made something that someone might not like. But if you do like it, please give us a comment anyway and let us know that I've at least helped someone or put someone on the right track. And that's it. So thanks for watching. Leave a comment below. Give us a thumbs up if you like it. And I'll catch you in our next video whenever it may be. So thank you once again for watching. I'm going to jump out right now. I might just click on next and let this complete. And we'll see you all very soon. Thanks for watching again. Bye.